What's up everyone, and welcome to Robeytech, where I, Justin Robey, aka Roby1 Kenobi, talk tech with you wonderful people. We're going to get you up to speed on everything's going on in the PC hardware and gaming world. We're talking about Threadripper launch, date leaks, we're talking about motherboard teasers, Wizards of the Coast taking a stance on political protests at events, a new Batman game, and more. So buckle up Buttercup, it's time for Robeytech. Man, we should get a cool intro and play it here. So first up in the news today is a leak about the next installment of Batman Arkham series. The main series debuted in 2009 with Batman Arkham Asylum, followed by Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and ending with Arkham Knight in 2015. Since then, we've gotten portable games, collections, updates, and even a VR game, but nothing brand spanking new. Now, thanks to a leak from Sabi, a journalist for Spiel Times and Nintendo Soup tweeted Arkham Legacy, followed up with the stuff about a playable family seems to be legit. Now, could this be we get to play as the whole Bat family and go on an awesome Bat ventures and fight all the Bat guys and all the Bat vehicles? Quick, Brian, to the Bat Cave!
Uh-oh.
While rumors of games are constantly flying around the media industry, this one might actually hold some water since Sabi is the journalist who accurately leaked nearly every detail about E3 2019 from Microsoft, Bethesda, and Nintendo. Not Sony, well, because they didn't go. So let us know in the comments below, which characters and villains would you like to see in the next Batman game? I know, I'm curious. Now here's the deal, guys. Wizards of the Coast took a stance on political protest. Now, the protests in Hong Kong continue to be an important issue in the game community ever since the Hearthstone Grandmasters in China. During the Mythic Championship 5 for Magic the Gathering Arena, one of the players, Li Shitian, had voiced his support of the Hong Kong protest, and Wizards of the Coast didn't censor or punish him or the casters. Tian wore a red mask over his face and covered one eye as he entered the main stage, showing support for the people of his hometown, Hong Kong. This went beyond the actual arena and into the live stream on Twitch, where Wizards of the Coast told their chat moderators to allow and not touch any statement supporting Hong Kong. So Wizards of the Coast has taken a public stance on political demonstrations during official events, which counters how Blizzard dealt with it. Now we're probably going to see this continue for a while longer as players voice their support for the people of Hong Kong in esports arenas. I don't know. I'm interested in this whole thing. Like it seems like compared to what happened with Blizzard, the Wizards of the Coast thing seemed to go a whole lot smoother. So curious, comments below, what do you guys think? Now let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox One, which looks friggin' beautiful. But Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC looks even more friggin' beautifuler. But how much more freaking beautifuler is the PC version is the question. Well, some YouTuber, Saisu1, has gone through, and Saisu1, if it's Saiku1 or Saiku, I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm abusing your name, but you know who you are. Anyway, you have gone through the trouble, he has gone through the trouble, to help answer the question by taking shots out of the 4K PC60 trailer we showed y'all last week and recreated them on the Xbox One X so we could see the difference. Do keep in mind that the game isn't going to be heavily compressed like it's on YouTube. After capturing, compressing, exporting, uploading, and recompressing, also known as generation loss, we can tell a couple of things. One, you can tell that the draw distance is a much better and environments are lusher and more vibrant. Much like myself. I am much more vibrant and lush. Wouldn't you agree, Brian? Okay, good. Hashtag confirmed. There is also a lot less haze in the PC version when compared to the Xbox One X version, which is a much more dynamic range in colors from shadows to highlights. It's interesting though to see the color tones and slightly different from console on PC with warmer tones on PC and cooler tones on Xbox. That is weird. Anyway guys, Red Dead Redemption 2 releases November 5th on PC in Rockstar's launcher, so if you've been waiting to play it till it came out on PC, there's only 13 more sleeps till the launch. Unless you're waiting for Steam, then you're just sad because it's not coming out till the end of December. Some of us may cry for a bit, but you can still get it on the Rockstar launcher. So let's talk about new releases. This week, we've got a bunch of sweet games, one I'm super excited about, coming out across all platforms. So let's take a look at some of the games we are looking forward to getting our hands on this week. For the wrestling fans out there, that's you, Brian Jenkins, WWE 2K20 is out on the 22nd on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and features new wrestlers, but also for the very first time in the series to feature a female storyline alongside the usual male storyline. Now, it's good to see more inclusion and representation in games, but let's see how they handle it first. Next up, we have the Switch exclusive with Skullgirls 2 Second Encore, also releasing on the 22nd, and is known for its unique hand-drawn animation style. What's cool about this being on the Switch is that while you can fight others online, you can also fight your friends locally using a single set of Joy-Cons. Now, not physically, please don't just punch your friends with the Joy-Cons, it's actually playing the game. This does not give you an invite to just go beat down your friends. And I'm looking at you, some of you, I know, because we've hit a few subscribers and I'm a little worried about some of you. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I know some people have been very excited about that, and it is coming out on October 25th on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. While I'm sure you've likely seen the commercial with Lil Wayne playing the game with his friends, this isn't a straight-up remake of the 2007 version of the game. You will see familiar characters like Captain Price, but it's an entirely new campaign that ties into the other co-op and multiplayer modes. There's also the addition of Realism mode that turns off your HUD for maximum immersion. And lastly, the game that's on everyone's radar, and if it isn't, it should be, is The Outer Worlds. Also releasing on the 25th of October, this game was revealed at the 2018 Video Game Awards that I co-hosted the after show for alongside a few of my very, very special friends at Mixer, of which none of them write me anymore, which makes me sad. Anyway, this game is developed by Obsidian, creators of Fallout New Vegas. This shooter RPG lets you jump from planet to planet, dynamic perk system, and so much more. Right now, early reviews of The Outer World are overwhelmingly positive, and you tease me with this because I have literally watched every single one of them and I have yet to get my code. Thanks, Obsidian. Anyway, this is a game where you aren't going to want to sleep on, so be sure to check that out on PC, Xbox One, and PS4 this week. Speaking of which, if you want to check it out on PC, I will be streaming on PC this weekend for sure. So just come hang out with me. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Now, speaking of Call of Duty Modern Warfare and The Outer Worlds, NVIDIA has released their updated GPU drivers that have been optimized for both games, so be sure to run your updates before you jump headfirst into these great two games. That is a real honest thing. Please make sure you update your NVIDIA drivers. Brian, did you update your NVIDIA drivers?
I don't have any.
You don't have any NVIDIA drivers? Do you not have anything that has NVIDIA on it?
No.
Oh. Okay, well, if you're Brian, you don't have to worry about that. You're ready to go already. Speaking of new Game Pass games, and speaking specifically about Outer World, we've got the new lineup for Game Pass titles coming soon. The Outer World is going to be on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you've already got Outer Worlds on Xbox One and on PC, so how about that? Also, we're going to see additions of Lonely Mountains, Downhill, Secret Neighbor, After Party, which I'm very excited about, and actually is going to be pretty dark. It reminds me a lot of my After Party life. Wait a minute, I don't have an after party life, so it doesn't. And my childhood, yeah, which is pretty much an after party. My whole, that's like every day for me is an after party. There's also Lego Star Wars 3 and Subnautica, which my son will be very excited about because he's been asking me to buy that game forever. Aside from that, we also have new events and quests for State of Decay 2, Gears of War 5, Minecraft, Rocket League, which you do play, Brian.
I love Rocket League.
Yes, I know you do. Luckily, I can tear you away for just a few minutes to edit. Ark, Black Desert, and Humans Fall Flat, which I played with Phil Spencer at Extra Life last year, which was pretty fun. Speaking of leaks, I don't know if you guys saw this, but we got a few images that have leaked on the PS5 Dev Kit. So Let's Go Digital has recreated a 3D model of the Dev Kit based on the leaks. A Dev Kit is, a kit developers use to build and test their games to make sure it's optimized for the platform. In many cases, it's not anything like the retail one. Usually these kits look a bit different from the actual release version of the hardware, or in PlayStation's case, usually very different from the retail version. This one's got 6 USB Type-A ports on the front, what looks like a USB Type-B port, status indicators and buttons for power reset, ejecting the optical disc, which supports dual-layered Blu-ray, a system initialize, and a network initialize. There's also a number of LED indicators numbered from 0 to 7, which we aren't 100% sure what they will indicate, but we can make a guess or two in a minute. Above that, we have the prototype 1, not for sale text, and some numbering I would assume is to track which developers has which kit. And I'm sure somebody's actually in a lot of trouble because that picture's out on the internet. But maybe not. Maybe this is all planned by Sony and there's some sort of massive conspiracy. But I hope that's what's true. From an overall looks perspective, it probably looks a little bit more like a projector than a gaming console. But all of the vents in there probably to keep this thing pretty cool. From a spec perspective, it's running an 8-core AMD Ryzen CPU that supports hardware ray tracing. It's the first Sony console to come with a lightning-fast SSD for storage and fast load times. With the intent to make the PS5 capable of gaming in 8K, those certainly impressive for bare-bones specs, but let's speculate for a second. Those 8 LEDs could be associated with each core of the CPU to indicate load while testing a build, which could be easy and very useful to have an immediate visual representation of the system load for a game dev. Let us know what you think about the PS5, and if you plan on picking one up, when it comes out next year. Most likely, that's the rumor. I don't know, man. That thing, you're going to see it when you look at the B-roll, Brian, but it is not. It looks like a hat. Like a hat, or like it looks like it can hold like a golf ball thing, so you can like swing off of it. It's a I don't know, it's unique. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd love to see what you think. Now let's talk more about Threadripper launch dates, because I'm really excited about that. Now with all the hype and anticipation for Threadripper 3, it's no wonder that leaks and rumors and teases are swarming around the internet. While this is technically a leak, videocards.com says that their source is based on highly confidential documents obtained from sources at AMD. So while it's not an official post by AMD, it's as good as it gets because it's documents from a few weeks ago from AMD. Now here's the deal, shock of all shocks, we are looking at November 5th announcement date where we will see all of the specs released for the TRX 40 motherboards and the 3960X and 3970X CPUs with a November 19th release date and press embargo. But wait, guess what? There's actually more. This document also confirms that the 3990X CPU that will also be announced on the 5th, but we won't see full specs or release until January 2020, probably on the 17th, for my birthday, because AMD loves me. Anyway, but Robey, you said we'd have info on the 3960X, the 3970X, and the 3990X, but where's the 3980X? Well, AMD doesn't just skip numbers willy-nilly, so what's the deal? Well, the documents they were given didn't have a listing for the 3980X SKU or the TRX 80 motherboards. So who knows for sure? Could this be just one big crazy story? Well, one can assume that the document leak was incomplete and they would release all of the information about the 3 launch SKUs on the 5th with the same launch window, but AMD could be throwing us a curveball and staggering releases. Now finally, GIGABYTE is teasing the AORUS TRX 40 motherboard. Hot and crispy off the heels of the release date info, GIGABYTE has jumped the gun on releasing a picture of an undisclosed AMD high-end desktop motherboard from AORUS South Africa Twitter. And I'm just amazed that people follow that. It's like, wow, it's specifically from the South African Twitter. That's huge. I'm going to go follow South Africa now. Now, at first glance, it does appear to be the AORUS board with a socket that looks pretty close to the TR4. So could this be the TR4 Plus or TR Plus socket for the TRX 40? The AORUS board is quite obviously an EATX standard. It seems that GIGABYTE has upped the form factor gaming for the X399 board's standard ATX form factor. We've got 4 16 by PCIe 4 slots, 8 DDR4 slots for quad channel memory, and standard fans over the chipsets and debug LEDs since these can get quite hot. It also has RGB because, yes, duh, of course, everything is faster with RGB. I mean, even I have RGB. Look at me. Okay, since we've got info on the 3990X actually being a thing and most likely supporting 64 #beefy cores, remember, we're trying to get that trending. This would be the first consumer-grade motherboard that supports such a high core count, and it's friggin' beautiful. Well, that's it for Robeytech today. Let us know what you thought about the news today in the comments below. Do you agree with Wizards of the Coast allowing players to protest during official broadcasts? Which member of the Wayne family would you like to play as to battle the Joker? What new games are you looking forward to playing this week? While you're down there, be sure to slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring that notification bell so you get a notification each time we post a new video. Also, head on over to mixer.com/Robey1Kenobi and give us a follow over there for our live show every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. Thanks so much for watching. Now, go play some games. Or hopefully you're watching this and you're gonna go play Outer Worlds. But regardless, Go play games. Man, Brian, that was thick, like triple C thick news this week. Anyway, guys, we'll see you later. #BeefyCores.